involved in promoting it or whatever. Last week was a flop. I mean, it was just a dud. I think we had like 70 views, 60 views or something like that. And again, I thought it was rich content and what we did, but evidently not so much. Okay, so this week, I wrote when I sent out the message to everybody today. I said, I'm not in a surly mood. I am not in a good mood for two reasons. Number one, do you guys watch the Olympics? Who in here watches the Olympics? Is anybody?
I've seen some of it just because I've been places, but other than that,
some of it, yeah. I've seen some of it.
Yeah, I love watching the Olympics. I mean, just to come
not and I won't watch it on purpose now because of what they just did.
Well, okay, you're spot on, Paul. And this is what has angered me so much. Is I love watching the Olympics. I love watching the competitiveness of these people. You see the culmination of a lifetime of training, pouring their hearts into being the best that you could possibly be at whatever it is. I mean, let's say it's what's that Olympic sport where they shove that thing down the ice what's the thing called? What's it? Curling. Yeah, even the Olympic athletes, they got to train. I mean, even that. I mean, they're trying to skill. But the bottom line is that I love watching the Olympics, but I am not. I'm boycotting it. After I went back to Kafirstan North over the weekend for family reasons. That my brother-in-law. We went up there to celebrate something that he's been involved in his entire life. It's just absolutely phenomenal. But we're sitting in his living room and we're watching the opening ceremony of the Olympics. And I'm sure you've all seen it by now, where they had this of all the things that you can depict in the opening ceremony. Isa, where are you? I was thinking of you, my brother. When I was watching this, I'm thinking, okay, would Isa, in his avant-garde renditions of, whatever he's doing in his artistic acting or whatever, would he even ever dare to do something as grotesque as have a bunch of transvestites at the Lord's Supper? Why? What's you doing? What's the message that you're trying to get across here? I hate Christianity and I'm going to flaunt my sexuality in the face of the living God. Let's play some games. Is that what you're trying to do?
No, it was about inclusivity and love. Didn't you hear the song? It's translated. Let me translate. Let me get the translation of the song for you real quick. Because no, you got to understand the song that the Blue Smurf played. Okay, he says the song is called "Nu," which is nude in French. Would there be wars if we had remained naked? No. Where would you hide a gun if you were naked? Or, I know what you're thinking. It's not a good idea.
Oh.
No more rich, no more poor. When we become naked again, yes. Whether we are slim, whether we are fat, we are simply naked. Let's live like we were born, naked again. Isn't it beautiful words?
All I could think of is the French running away from their own homeland. That's what it sings to me.
What are they thinking? I mean, what? Pick a different song. Why even go with that song? I mean,
it's about inclusivity. It's about love and joy and happiness.
No, this is about being. This is about flaunting your sexuality in the face of everybody, folks. This is. I was talking to the Queen about this. I said what we saw on the TV there, what they're doing. I mean, one of the scenes was there was three gay guys. They're going into a room to have a threesome, and then they close the door. this is
What?
this is only going to get worse when you allow people without speaking up, and you allow these actors, these people who portray all these, to throw it in your face like that, and then mock the new covenant established by Christ with this Dionysus. What is the Dionysus? Wasn't this he like the Greek god of perversion or sexuality or something like this? And to have him at, it's for me,
Bacchus would be one of them. I mean, Bacchus the drunkard. Yeah. And then they had, yeah. I look at this as so offensive that anyone, I mean, I was at a restaurant today. That's the only thing I've seen of the Olympics, because it was on the screen while I was at a restaurant today. I normally spend every time the Olympics on, a few hours here and there watching, because, just like Eric was saying, these are supposed to be the best of the best. Let's see how they compete, and then you get to see the other thing there, how they support each other as professional Olympians. I mean, that's just, it's another level of sports, and it's another level of professionalism. It's the highest level. It's supposed to be, except for professionalism, which goes beyond that. These are supposed to be the amateurs. Now it's crazy. I mean, this is, I have no desire to provide any level of support. I do want to say that I did see YouTube where the churches responded, where they held church services out in the public in Paris, and they were upset. I wish I could think of I'm trying to find the last video I saw of that, but yeah.
Well, and Rob brings up a great point here. Why only Christianity? Why is it they only mock Christianity?
Because we put them all in their place.
Well, I would dare them. I would double dog dare them. I would triple dog, quadruple dog dare them to mock Islam or Muhammad. I mean, even show some type of caricature of him without in a mocking tone. They're a bunch of cowards, is what they are. This is what sniving little cowards do all the time. Now, and so I'm not, and I'm sorry for being so angry about this, but watching that just put me it just ticked me. I mean, how dare you? How dare you? I mean, this is supposed to be a celebration of international communities coming together, cooperating, all this greatness that we find in athletics and competitiveness with one another. And what do they have to do? They have to turn it into this little perverted little sex show, because you got a bunch of little quislings there that think more about their ding-a-ling than they do of anything else in life. And that's all they identify with. It's sick. And the sooner that these perverts are called out and told exactly what they're, we've gotten to this point where we're afraid to call a sodomite a sodomite. What they do is sick. It is a perversion of the human sexuality. And they have so contorted this and distorted this into something to say, well, we got to have pride in it ain't who you are. You ain't any more than a pervert than I am a drug addict. You choose this. You do it once, you do it twice, and the next thing you know, you're doing it all the time. And the same thing is with your perversions. When you let that evil into your head and you start acting out of it, that is exactly what you get. And how dare you say that?
No, actually, I was watching Facebook yesterday, and I saw post after post, even from some pastors, making it sound like, oh, it's okay. We just have to pray for them. We have to love them. Like, no, we cannot do that anymore. No, hold on. We can't do that anymore. We have to speak up. The gentleness time is over. It's time to actually speak the word and rebuke them firmly.
Sin is
Can't
sin.
let
Is
this happen anymore.
it has to be said that sin is sin. In my area, the last mayor was demanding the sermons of godly men who were preaching because they were calling sin sin. So if you spoke against homosexuality, she wanted your sermon before you spoke.
Who wanted this?
The mayor of Rochester, New York. Yeah, this was during COVID time, and she wanted.
I think I remember hearing something about this.
Well, it was her, and there was a few others that were doing this, and of course she jumped on the bandwagon. And I know my pastor said you can have it when you become God Himself.
Right.
Y'all you can have that when you become God. Then you'll know my sermon before I even write it. So,
I think Darcy hit it right on the head, and I was about to go there. Of course we're going to pray for these people. Of course we're going to ask them to seek God, seek Christ, seek His Word, and seek repentance. But until you admit what you're doing is sinful, there's nothing I can do for you. There's nothing.
Yeah, there's another point. There's another point. What they're doing is worldly. People who belong to this world will not have the reward of heaven. They have to turn away from this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna drop it there. But I mean that one thing just got me all riled up. And
you have to call sin sin. It's what it comes down to.
And like I said earlier, this is only going to get worse. If you were to back this up, let's say back this up to 30 years ago, back it up 30 years ago. If you were to say that homosexual marriage would be the law of the land, and that there'd be a whole month set aside to celebrate their perversions or whatever. You would say, what is wrong with you? That's that. But look what's happened. And the problem with this, and this is the problem that I just absolutely am outraged at, is that they target the little children, like these drag queens. Why do you got to read a book to a bunch of kids? Why do you got to take your skanky little butt into an arena where there are children? Well, the reason why is because the time to hook these kids onto their perversion is when they're little kids. If you talk to homosexual, I wrote a big paper on this when I was in college. But anyway, the majority of people that are homosexual, they have their first encounters when they're very young with people that are much older. In other words, they're molested. The majority of them are at that early age. And this is
Eric, what you're describing is what pastors and preachers and social workers have known for multiple decades, that homosexuality usually comes about as a result of someone young being sexually molested by someone older. And then they say, oh, they were molested because they had feelings. That's why that happened. No, it didn't. They had sin thrust upon them, and they are confused. And this is the evil that comes. And then they'll use the excuse. I mean, I actually have had to interact to try and save my job with the Gay Alliance here in Rochester, New York. I called them and asked, do you endorse the Man Boy Lovers Association? They said, we don't have a stand.
Who are you talking to?
I was talking to the Gay Alliance here in Rochester, New York.
The Gay Alliance. Who is sharing the screen? Who is that? Is that Rad?
That's me.
Oh, that's
you. I was sharing the screen.
Okay.
Oh, I play video with you. Because pull that video up. I just want to because you know why? Because you guys are weird. I am serious. According to the Democratic Party, according to Kamala Harris, according to Josh Shapiro, according to every single Democrat, you guys are weird. If you believe like J.D. Vance believes, if you believe that like Republicans believe, you guys are weird. But this is normal. I'm gonna play this clip. This is stolen from. I forgot who I stole it from. But let's play this clip. This is normal. This is perfectly normal, people.
No audio.
I don't even want to listen to it. I mean, just looking at this.
That's a guy.
That's the dude. That's the dude that had a beard.
This is normal.
Yeah, for Biden.
This is normal.
Oh, Biden. Well, we got to remember we've had a homosexual in the White House who had a boyfriend playing the role of first lady. So, yeah, with Biden, it's not a surprise. Because, Biden.
I mean, look at this. Obama. Are you kidding me?
This is what you are voting against. You're going to see more of this if these nutcases get elected. This is normal to them.
Is that her vice president?
I wouldn't doubt it.
That's a pretty good chance I'd be willing to bet.
I mean, look, I mean, you're known by the company that you keep.
Oh, listen to this.
What is this?
Nancy we can't hear anything, Rad. There's no audio.
It doesn't matter. I don't want to listen to these people. Who cares? All right.
Oh, there's no audio?
Can we
Okay, so that's when she's praising St. George Floyd for sacrificing his life for justice. She literally said that. Yeah, hold on. I'm going to show you more normal. Hold on. That's normal. This is actually a White House intern. They did this video as a promotional video. This is his day at the job. Where he's bragging. No, this is
most jobs you get fired from. Yeah.
Nope.
He got fired.
Coming in like that, he'd get fired in most jobs.
You come in and act like that as a, you
get fired. You come dressed like that, you'd be considered unprofessional. He should be fired.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should be. You
that's
portray
normal.
Those. See, that's where it's got to be fixed. Our country has to do something. You just can't. You cannot normalize that type of behavior and expect the morality within the society not to go in the sewer, and will become like Rome, where everything goes and it turns into nothing but this self-centered, narcissistic debauchery of a perversion of human sexuality. That's exactly where we're going with all of this.
One more thing on this real quick, and then we'll end it there. Kamala Harris, this was back in 2007 when she was running for district attorney. She was talking to the Harvey Milk Club and and wanted to get their endorsement. So she said that she believes that she should be an honorary sex worker.
Should be
an honorary sex worker. Speaking to the Harvey Milk Club. That's our vice president.
It's sick. Something needs to be done about it. I mean, you just cannot continue to. I mean, I had students come up and ask me, "Well, can you call me this name?" And I look at this. No, your name's not. That's not your name on my roster. Sorry, ain't gonna happen. Because one of the things that I used to do at the beginning of the year is I always say, if your name was Christopher, do you go by Christopher? Do you go by Chris or whatever? That was the purpose behind it. And this student said, "Well, I want to be called such and such." And I'm like, "That has nothing to do with your name." And they're like, "Well, that's what I go by." And I said, "Okay, well, I tell you what, you have your parents call me here at the school or send me an email telling me that you want me to call you by this name. No problem." It's a 90% solution. A lot of these kids want to shield the exposure to these perversions from their parents. And the earlier that you get involved as a teacher, as an educator, and a lot of people, they think that teachers are, this immoral lot that want to entice kids to, do all this, that, and the other. And that's not true. That's not the majority. The majority of our teachers out there are good-hearted people. Good Christian people, at least the ones that I've worked with. Now, there's some out there that are Okay, I get that. But again, it starts early. And it's stuff like this when you got little kids, because I was watching in horror where I have two nephews and a niece. 5 years old is the girl, and the other boys I think are 7 and 8, 8 or 9 or something like that. And they're sitting there watching this whole thing. And I'm thinking, why? How can you put this out in front of children without putting some type of flipping label on it, for crying out loud? I don't know. The whole thing just had me angry. And again, this is where our society is heading until people of God stand up and say, this is wrong. This is wrong. You cannot promote decent human, a culture if you have these types of perversions which are and people's identity, which are completely predicated upon what they do with their dingalings and that's how they want to be identified. How do you explain that to a little kid? You cannot have that as the center of your culture, or allow that to be a center of your culture. I'm sorry, and I'm going to speak up against it and out against it every chance I can. Okay, I wanted
sexuality cannot be your culture is another thing to say. It cannot be your culture. It's the way you express who you are, but it is not your culture.
How this again? This is something, when you sit there and you identify yourself, Eric, who are you? I'm a father. I'm a grandfather. I'm an Army retired master sergeant. I'm a retired okay. Eric, who are you? Well, I like to take my ding-a-ling and put it in, I like to sodomize other men. If that is who you are, and that is the first thing that you want everybody to know about you, you have a problem. You definitely have a problem. When we start, let me say this, and I'll get off my horse here, because this, if you look at the DSM-5, which is the manual for diagnosing psychiatric disorders.
Yes.
Homosexuality was a psychiatric disorder until around 1970. This was in my paper that I wrote.
I can tell you the year it ended, 1984.
What do you mean 1984?
It was taken out of DSM.
Okay. All right.
3, and it was in DSM. Oh, sorry, it was removed from. It was DSM 2 or DSM 3. It was moved. I was hired the year they changed it, so I know it's changed in 1984.
Okay. So, and the reason why it changed is that there's a board of people who there's a board of people who are elected and serve on its editing and determining what is and what is not in there. In 1970, they got a homosexual on that board. And then the year after, they got another one. And then the year after, and the year after, and the year after, they kept accumulating more and more homosexuals gravitating to this board. And guess what they finally took out? Homosexuality. Now, it's gotten to this point. Now, and this is actually a good segue into what I'm going to be going into here in a little bit. It's gotten to this point now to where psychiatrists are prohibited by law of treating people for same-sex attractions. The insurance companies will not pay for it, and if you try to treat somebody's same-sex attraction desires in your practice, you can be sued. You can be sued for malpractice. Why? Well, it's not a disorder, psychiatric disorder, don't you see?
Bigotry.
Here's something else that you all ought to be really, actually, you should be ecstatic about, because in Luke 17 it says it'll be like the days of Lot right before the coming of the Son of Man. Guess what? We're there.
Yeah. Yeah, you're exactly right.
I'm getting excited. Our Lord is coming back soon.
Come, Lord Jesus. Yeah, I agree. we had a kid at our church said, "Look, I don't want the rapture." He wasn't a kid. I guess he was like in high school or whatever. He goes, "I don't want the rapture to happen until I get a girlfriend and I get a truck." Well, he's got a truck, and I've seen his Facebook page. He's dating a couple girls. He actually brought a couple to church. So rapture can happen as far as he's concerned. But yeah, that's and then I know some of y'all, there ain't no rapture. It's not about. Okay, that's okay.
Well,
Just
I'm
stay away.
gonna say this. As far as the rapture is concerned, I think everybody has it backwards because you got to find the parallels in the Bible about these kind of things. And when you go and look at the parable of the wheat and the tares, you'll see that it's the tares that are pulled up and thrown into the fire. It's not the wheat. So the tares are pulled out, not the wheat. Wheat stays and matures and becomes, the grain that it's supposed to be. But the tares get pulled out and thrown into the fire. So I think it's the opposite. I think those that are raptured out of here are the ones that are thrown into the fire.
Oh, really? I never heard of that before.
Yeah.
I think it's the opposite because it was Lot who was taken out of Sodom, and
Right, but he
the
left.
The Lord said to him, "I can't do anything until you get out of here." He said
Right,
to him,
and
"I
he
can't
left.
do anything until you're out of here," and then he judged Sodom. So
Right.
anyway,
I
it's
agree
not a
with you.
salvation issue,
But Sodom and Gomorrah were, it wasn't the whole world, so to speak, right? So I think it's the opposite because all of the evil's pulled out of here and we're left. So, I mean, that gives Christ his chance to come back. Well, he's already coming back, but everybody will see him when he comes, right? In his second coming. So,
Well,
you gotta read the texts really closely, and you'll understand why I'm coming from where I'm coming from.
and you're both are wrong.
we may be, but I'm not.
My mom and I used to get, and this is what she finally said because she was tired of arguing with me. She goes, "Eric, if there's a rapture, you know what? Praise God. If there's not a rapture, praise God. If it's a mid-trib rapture, praise God. If it's a post-trib rapture, praise God. Praise God. That's what we need to do." But anyway, I'm not going. I'm going to get away from this rapture thing. That wasn't my intent. I'm sorry, and I apologize. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the other thing that made me really surly today, and this is where this deals with this Palestinian issue. And the thing that I have about this Palestinian issue, this is what great. Okay, I was thinking about. Oh yes, Hamas is coming. Is we watched the Prime Minister of Israel address a joint session of Congress this week, minus, of course, our cowardly Vice President and Senate Majority Leader and a number of other congressional delegates to include, but it didn't disclude Rashida Tlaib. Rashida Tlaib is probably how would you describe what she did? This is probably not I don't want to say it's the most unprofessional thing, but it was kind of like she held up a sign that said
identifying herself. She identified who she was.
Well, it tells us exactly who she is. She's a piece of dirt.
It was nice. It was an identity card. That's how you have to look at it.
Oh, she said, "I'm a war criminal." Okay, what did it say on the back? There was something else on the back. I can't remember.
War criminal is the one I saw. I didn't see anything else.
And okay, but besides her, all the rest of the usual suspects failed. You have Elizabeth Warren, Bernie, What's the one that married her brother? It's a Somalian.
Ilhan Omar, the incestuous,
Omar,
adulterous woman.
Omar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The usual suspects bailed. And outside of the speech in Union Station is the main train station for DC, big bus terminal. There's a statue that sits right outside of there. And these Hamas holes supporting useful idiots, according to Netanyahu, painted on there, spray painted on there, Hamas is coming. Hamas is coming. Yes, Rob, the squad. There we go.
They're
Hamas,
here already, but yeah.
no, they're not. No. They're not here. The Hamas holes are not. The Hamas holes are too big of cowards to show their faces. If you looked at all of these people that were protesting, I would say 75% of them have their faces covered. And then to say that Hamas is coming, Hamas would never engage in a fair fight to begin with, because they're a bunch of sissies. These are the type of people who go in and slap you, and then when you go chasing after them, what do? They run to the teacher, saying, "Oh, please, he's trying to hurt." This is exactly what they do. They're cowards. And to say that Hamas is coming is a lie. They'd never come here. Why? Because they're nothing but a bunch of cowards. That's the point I wanted to make about that. Okay, so this video that I think Rad, did you send me this video? I think you did. I'm going to show it, and then if it wasn't you, it was definitely somebody who comes to the show all the time. Okay, let me play this. Let me know right away if you can hear the sound. Let's move this over here.
I can't hear it.
You cannot hear that?
Nope. Can't hear it.
Can you hear it now?
Nope.
Nope. No. What's wrong with you? You can't hear that. Welcome to the Wild West Bank. You did not hear that.
No.
Nope. Can't hear it.
You guys are impossible. I mean, you
Don't
so
have Rumble ported.
so demanding. Okay, hold on. Let me try. Let me try it again. Hold on. Done. Stop it. Shut your mouth. Okay. Present. Screen share. Share to share audio. Share a tab. There. Okay. You can see it. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Still can't hear it. Got the wrong sound device.
It's a fight sometimes.
All right. Let me try this. Golly. Video file. Let's try that. No, not a file.
Say
Present.
Bismillah. It might work.
In your settings, your audio.
Right.
I
Audio.
believe it would be the speaker is what you need to set. Hold on, let me check here.
Recording hotkeys, layouts. Come on. Give me a break. In the audio, it says speakers, mic, echo, reduce mic background, echo cancellations, automatically adjust mic volume.
Yeah, see, I have mine set as virtual audio cable, so that's not going to help you. It has to be your output device, though. Whatever your output device is.
All right. Well, this guy, they have. Wait a second. What's this? Here we go. All right. I think maybe this is it. Hold on. Maybe I got this right. All right. Let me try this.
Millions of people around the world.
Yep, that did it.
See Palestine.
All right.
Well, I've decided to see Palestine. Welcome to the Wild West Bank.
Oh, that's a good one. I like this one.
Are you supportive of Hamas?
Yes.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Are most Palestinians?
Yeah.
Palestinian people like Hamas.
I'm with the resistance.
Did you see the videos they posted of what they did on
Okay, let's make sure we understand this. The Palestinian people are Hamas. If you support Hamas, that is who you are. So when we start saying Hamas went in and killed all of these Jews, we're not just saying the Palestinian, we're not just saying the Hamas holes did this. The Palestinian people did this. You know, these people that want a two-state solution. We just want to all get along.
Nope, they don't.
Yeah. Okay. That's who these guys are. So let's just make sure we understand who supports the Hamas hole. Wrong one.
October 7th?
Everything.
And you're okay with all that?
With everything they did.
They killed innocent Israelis. Yes,
No.
they did.
No.
Yes, they did.
Give me a picture for rape.
Okay. Last week, a couple weeks ago, we did Yasser Qadi the jihadi. And this is the exact thing that he said. Show me where you have these women getting raped. Show me a picture of this rape. Look at this woman's fanny here. She has had the crap raped out of her. You just don't get blood all over your butt. Golly. And then everything, that lady said everything they did. I support everything they did. Pieces of, golly, calm down. It's all right. It's all right. All right, it gets worse.
Do you think Hamas should release the Israeli hostages?
No.
Nothing.
No, it's funny. It is. It's funny. No. We shouldn't release all those people that you kept in these dungeons for 10 months of their lives. Did nothing to you.
Some were dead and they buried in the walls in those tunnels. That's the last 5 they found.
That's how they found him, because they found him buried in the wall?
Buried in a wall in one of the tunnels.
Really?
That's the last 5 they found, yeah. That was this Saturday they revealed that.
Well, I know they found those walls. Oh, that's sickening.
There's nothing named Israel? Yeah. The Quran mentions Israel over 100 times.
Oops. I'm an idiot.
Is Palestine mentioned in the Quran? No. The murders Hamas did on October 7th, is that okay?
Yes.
Yep. They had a right to do
They
it.
have the right to do it.
The problem is not Hamas. We should look at the bigger picture.
They living under occupation.
Occupation of who? Occupying what? They turned the entire Gaza Strip over to them idiots in 2005, and the first thing they did was they elected, folks, Ariel Sharon. I remember this. Ariel Sharon, against the will of the people, turned the entire Gaza Strip over to the Palestinian people, the Gazanians, and gave them full autonomy. You run the show. You do exactly what you see fit. We're out of here. And they physically, forcibly evicted all of the Israeli residents that lived in the Gaza Strip. A lot of them clinging on the very doors of their homes. And when they turned it over, what did the Gazanians start doing? The Palestinians start doing? Well, the first thing they did was they elected a terrorist group to lead them. Bad move, but hey, they support them. Second thing they did is they start shooting rockets into Israel. Third thing they started doing is sending suicide bombers into Israel. So what did Israel do? Well, we're going to put up a fence around your butt so you can't come in and blow our people up and kill our people arbitrarily. And on top of that, we're not going to allow arms to get into your little enclave there. And we're going to and also what we're going to do is we're going to prevent, or we're going to build a dome over our country. So when you start shooting these rockets into our country, we're going to shoot them down. Take that. This is what these people, the only thing that the entire thing that in that region, that little the Gaza Strip was predicated upon is the hatred for the Jews. They hate the Jews.
Brother, can I add something for you? Like, it's not only the hating of the Jews, it's the hating of what they called kuffar. Okay, I live in Egypt, by the way, and I live with the Muslims most of the time. And if you looked on YouTube on, for example, a 9/11 video, like a news video, if you go back in the comments and translate the comments, you will see people who giving and praying for mercy and blessing to Osama bin Laden. That's what they do.
In Gaza?
No, in general. They only hate
In
Americans.
general,
They hate
that's
kuffar.
right.
So if any attack happens to America, Israel, Jews, they bless, pray for people who did this, even if it was a suicide.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Sure, brother.
All right. You said you're from Egypt?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you let these guys into Egypt?
Exactly, because the government know they are terrorists.
What? No.
They know they are terrorists. They know. That's why they closed the gates.
Oh, wait. Tell Eric what happened when the 5 protesters in favor of Hamas. What had happened to those 5 protesters?
Actually, the FBI of Egypt themselves acknowledged that Hamas are terrorists. I can send you a channel on YouTube, but it's in Arabic. I don't know if you understand Arabic or not. That's saying that Hamas is falling down. That's one of the people who work at the government. You have a YouTube channel, 100+ million. It's popular in Egypt. They acknowledge that Hamas is falling down. And that Iran attacks that happen on Israel, it benefit Israel more than Hamas because they destroyed the Gaza, some of the Gaza parts, not the Israeli parts.
This is exactly what Usama says every week, that the Arab world hates the Palestinians. The only thing that they have love of them is giving them weapons so they kill themselves while they kill Jews.
And that is, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. It's fine. He's right. They just hate the Jews and hate the Americans for no reason. Even if innocent people were killed just because they are not Muslims, they deserve all the hurt and all the bad things. And if you looked at Islam and what Islam teaches, it literally what's the word? It breaks all the 10 commandments and
Like what
all
Islam
right
does?
teachings. Yeah, what Muhammad did.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that.
So
we're
that's
going to get to that here in just a little bit, but yeah.
Yep. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate that. And you need to.
He's a friend of mine from Discord.
Oh yeah. Well, you bring some qual. I mean, I don't know why you were affiliating with that, but I mean, you bring some quality folks.
I want my $1,000 payment check.
There you go. Venmo it to him. Okay, let's look at some more of this. Okay, but Israel left Gaza in 2005. Quote, when Israel left Gaza in 2005, this is the point I was making. Gaza was given complete autonomy over the region. There was no occupation, none. They had full autonomy. And what did they do? The first thing they start doing is lashing out, trying to kill as many Jews as they can. What do you expect Israel to do? If you are going, and this is what blows my mind, United Nations forces Israel to maintain these Palestinians in their areas without sending them to Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, or Syria. And they are the only group that get to maintain their refugee status as an inheritance. No other group in the history of the UN, in the history of the not the UN, what was the one before that? What was before the United Nations? It was set up by
League of Nations.
League of Nations. There we go. Good night. I'm getting dementia.
The joy of growing older. Hey, that's what happens when you retire. You don't have to keep it fresh.
You miss it. But anyway, this has never happened before, where you get to maintain your refugee status as like a birthright. This is crazy. So the people in Gaza had their opportunity, and they've completely blown it. And now they want the entire world to feel sympathy for the cowardness of the Hamasals. I think not. That's not, at least not from here. All right, let's see what else this guy's got to say.
But Israel left Gaza in 2005.
شو؟
What does antifada mean?
Violent.
Neither one of us were born anywhere near 1940. We have to deal with the reality today.
No.
No, don't deal with the reality today.
Britain brought all the criminal Jews.
Okay, I'm going to put this to rest right now. Britain did not bring all the criminal Jews to Israel at any time. Prior to the end of World War I, the Ottoman Empire sided with, during World War I, the Ottoman Empire sided with the Germans in the Austrian-Hungarian Empire. They lost. They lost all control of their land. When you choose the wrong side, wars have consequences. When you choose the wrong side, fight your war, and you lose, don't get all buttered. Do not get all disjointed when you are actually forced to abide by somebody else's rules. They allowed the continued immigration of Jews into Palestine. Balfour Declaration, Peel Commission. You guys remember hearing about this kind of stuff? Okay. They allowed the Jews to come in there and buy up this land. Folks, when Jews were buying up this land, at this time, an acre of land in Iowa, the fatherland, the richest dirt in the world, was about $125 an acre. Jews were paying over $1,000 an acre when they came to Palestine, Israel, Judea and Samaria, when they started immigrating back in the land. And then when she says that the British brought all of them, oh, no, sister. These Jews were actually deterred from the British under the British mandate during World War, right before World War I and through World War II. I would also add, I just had a train of thought here. I've lost it just for a second, but I'll get it here and it'll come right back. Also, when that land was partitioned to include the Transjordan, Israel only got, when it was finally partitioned off by the UN in 1948, or by England, by Britain in 1948, and they were able to claim statehood. It was only like 10% of the land when you include the entire Transjordan. So the majority of the land, 90% of the land, went to the Arabs, and just a smidgen, just a sliver, went to the Jews, and they couldn't take it. So don't give me this crap that the British brought them. And just as soon as they declared their independence, we did this 2 weeks ago. I showed you what the 10 Arab countries did to the British population. They pushed them into exile. Let's go back. Oh, these people are just incredible.
It's 1948. They can go back. Holanda, Iraq.
Okay, where are they going back to, lady? Where are they going to go back to? Where are you going to go back to? You were kicked out of Morocco. They're not going to allow you back in Morocco. They were kicked out of Algeria. They're not going to allow you back into Algeria. They kicked out of Saudi Arabia. Not going back there. Kicked out of the only place that they really were not kicked out, which is kind of surprising, was Iraq and Iran. There they were.
Yeah, do you know why, brother? Even some Jews are in Egypt. They know why they kicked them. They didn't kick them. Money.
Exactly.
Because money.
Well, and here, let me make this point. When the Jews started buying up all of that land, it was normally from non-tenant people that didn't even live there. They were rich, wealthy landowners, and so they would buy these swaths of land from them. And when they came there, they drained the swamp and cultivated the land and started irrigating it. And the desert bloomed. They had to have people come in and work that land. They had to have people come in and work, and when they had their industrial development. Who did they bring in? They brought in all kinds of Arabs to do that.
Even
Arabs tried to claim that even though it was their grandfathers and their great grandfathers came in to work the land, and they had nothing to do with the land prior to this, they want to claim that they have a right to the land. They're a bunch of liars. Go ahead.
Yeah, even Saddam Hussein before he went to Kuwait and fight the Saudi thing and those kind of stories, he needed a lot of money, and some of Jews gave him the money. It's not mentioned in the global politics, but these things were revealed through the politicians of Egypt by the years. that the Jews are there, but the only way they can stay safe is by giving money. It's like Jesus, one of the chat says.
Yeah.
It's like this. They only care about money and themselves.
And when the Jews were exiled from these countries, they left with the shirts on their back. All of their money, all of their possessions, all the property, they couldn't take it with them. They couldn't sell them, or they wouldn't allow them to sell them. They just took it from them, said, "Get out." And so when they got to Israel, they had nothing. And these people want to say, "Well, we want this land." Just shut your pie hole. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional here.
No, you're right. You're right.
Most of those places they were kicked out of.
Jews have not been killed or exposed to any struggle.
Cap.
Jews have not been exposed to any violence or any stuff.
Excuse me, what did Hamas do on October 7th?
Well, it isn't just that. Has this lady ever heard of something called, I don't know, the Holocaust?
No, she was probably told that's a lie.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because who's the leader of Fatah?
Because Iran teaches that, and these guys are useful idiots of Iran.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. The Holocaust was this big charade, all these things that I personally went and saw myself. Oh, you didn't see that. No. That was just for disinfectant. That was just for, delousing mattresses and such. Shut your pot, golly. Okay, back to our darling here.
Or any violence.
Almost every country in the Middle East.
No.
That's true.
Educate yourself.
Yeah, here it is.
If they are kicked, it's because of their own actions.
What did they do besides being Jewish?
They steal. They do all awful.
Okay, so here you have, this is just the quintessential example of what an anti-Semitic bigot looks like. This is what these papers, this is what they look like. This is when they're.
Thank you, Islam. Thank you, Islam.
And what motivates them to do it? What is the basis for this? Islam. That's exactly.
Look, brother, I posted a link in the chat. I know it's in Arabic, but you can try to translate it. That's Jewish.
Crazy? I don't know what.
Yeah, if you can translate it through Google, if you can. But I'm gonna tell you what's included. It's a Jewish crowd of 5 people were killed by a police soldier just because they are Jewish in Alexandria, in May, I believe, this year, just because they are Jew. They didn't have a gun, they didn't have anything. Just getting out of the hotel. The soldier, I said, I'm gonna jihad. Muhammad promised me of 72 virgin and endless penis. I'm gonna kill them, and he did. Just because they are Jews.
And when did this happen?
It's literally in 11 May this year.
So it's recently.
Yeah.
Did y'all see what happened yesterday with the Hezbollah firing that rocket, killed those Druze
12 kids. Yeah, 12 kids.
This is what hatred. This is what this hatred, this ideology, this Islamic ideology of hatred, hating thy neighbor, not loving thy neighbor, does and causes. Now you got all these families that have to go out there and pick up their pieces of their little children off the soccer field, go bury them now. And I know. What about the Gazanian kids? What about look, if you're going to hide behind schools, you're going to build your tunnels underneath hospitals, and you're going to have your headquarters underneath the UNRWA and suck all their bandwidth off of their internet. These things are going to happen. If you want to come out and have a fair fight, I would, come out and have a fair fight. Let's have these firefights. Let's go door to door, and we'll see who wins. But these guys, they cower and they hide amongst the population, and they hide in these tunnels. They hide behind their women. They hide behind their children. And then they demand in the entire world, all these little useful idiots that Netanyahu described, then they cry, they cry foul. How can you keep killing us? Don't hide behind your women and children. Come out and fight fair. If you want, if you were supposed to be an army protects its people. It doesn't hide behind them. These people are not mujahideen or whatever they call them.
Yeah,
they're cowards, is what they are.
They see the German leader, and you know what I'm talking about, just because I don't want to mention his name. They in Facebook, because Facebook is very popular in Egypt, they keep making posts and saying this guy was a good man because he killed the Jews. I literally have the screenshots in my phone, and you can just go on YouTube, just type Israel in Arabic and click on any video and see the comments. They say, "Oh, this leader was right. He's the hero. He killed them." Just for because the Quran said the Jews and Christians are the worst of believers.
What is the holiday called at the end of Ramadan? Is it like Eid Mubarak or something like that? Eid.
Yes, Eid al-Kibir, the big Eid.
Okay, and one
Or
of
Eid
the.
al-Fitr.
Okay, and
Eid al-Fitr, yeah.
Okay, what's it called?
Eid al-Fitr.
Okay, and one of the traditions is to give gifts to people.
In Adha they do kill animals, and according to them halal, but they don't. They just kill them and make killing in the streets, and all the streets are blood, and then they give the meat in the street. Literally, what against Jesus teach? They're like hypocrites who love to do things in public and to get the reward from the people. So that's
Their
what
idea of a sacrifice is to eat the sacrifice.
No, but there's not the exchange of gifts to other people. No.
Yeah, they do. They do. It's type of sweets. They do this in all type of.
But they do that whenever there's somebody kills a Jew or somebody kills a Christian.
Well, okay. This is what this. I read this. I don't know where I read that. I can't remember where I read this.
Yeah, you're right. They did this in every celebration, every Muslim celebration only. Like if there's a government celebration or a Christian celebration, they don't do this. Only in Islamic celebration, like Ramadan, Adha, Eid and Mawlid al-Nabawi, which the birth of their prophet.
Okay, well, the point that I was trying to make is that when they do this celebration and they do exchange gifts, the number one gift is Mein Kampf. Every year.
Is what?
The number one gift given during the celebration is the book Mein Kampf.
No, they now at least in Egypt they give sweets. That way, give each other sweets, and in Eid al-Adha they give meat, especially for poor. They run
I'm gonna have to look at. I believe. I don't believe you. It isn't that I don't believe. I do.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to check my source on that because I can't.
Maybe not in Egypt. I'm talking at least in Egypt because that's what I.
Well, maybe it was a local thing. Maybe it was Pakistan or something like that. I can't.
That's probably Palestine that you're talking about.
I'm gonna check my source on that. Because
I would say Palestine too because they were really buddies with Hitler.
Well, because of Al Husseini. Yeah. Okay. The Jews do awful deeds. They're bad people, of course.
Does anyone here hate Hamas? In the U.S., it's a big movement right now. Queers for Palestine. Are you supportive of that?
No, we don't have it.
You don't have gay people here?
No.
It's like an alien. It would not be accepted.
No, to be honest with you, no.
Do you want to live with the Israelis in peace? Or?
No, I want one state solution. No Israel.
So no more Israel?
Yes.
Israel wiped off the map.
Palestine فقط.
We should delete Israel.
So you would not be okay with a two-state solution?
Of course not.
Israelis prisoners when they released from Gaza, they was smiling.
Okay, number one. This two-state solution thing. Where's Issa? Issa, are you out there? Are you driving around or something? Because Issa's for a two-state solution.
That's
nobody else is. So I mean, I don't. I'm not even for. I don't think that they do. I think that the West Bank belongs to the Israelis and shouldn't even be called is Israel. I think it should be called its rightful name, Judea and Samaria. And if you don't agree with that, then move. Go ahead, get out.
Yeah, I'm a little confused because there's this little tiny sliver of land called Israel, and you have all this other huge sections of land around it that are all Muslim. What's the problem with this?
There's a Quranic verse that says that you are to drive them out of the lands that they drove you out of. Am I correct on this?
Well,
Yeah.
Okay.
actually, the Quran says that Jerusalem is the place, man.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't mention
Yeah, it
Jerusalem.
does.
Where does
Yeah.
it say Jerusalem?
Hold on. I'll find you the verse.
I challenge you, Ed, to find me where the Quran says Jerusalem. I am so confident about this. I am going to wait for your answer, and I'm going to dog you out the entire time that you're looking
But
for it.
100% it says that the Jews, Israel is the land of Jews. That's what the Quran teaches.
Allah says it belongs to the Jews. That's the truth. So these pretend Palestinians, pretend people who
Okay,
can't
you're
even
right.
say Palestine correctly.
You're right.
Which
It
still
says
makes
the
me laugh
children of
every time.
Israel.
Yeah.
It says the children of Israel. That
I was right.
It belongs. Yeah, it belongs
Okay,
to the
hold on,
children of Israel.
Ed, hold on just a second.
Yeah. It says here that the
Okay, hold
city
on.
of Jerusalem is not mentioned by name in the
At least
Quran.
let me enjoy my moment.
There are, but there are some
He
indications.
is right. Eric is right. Eric is right.
In Surah Al-Ma'idah, Allah states that Musa encouraged the children of Israel to enter Jerusalem, which was under their control during the time of their father. So, so if it did tell them to enter into Jerusalem, let me go find that verse. Let me see. That's Al-Ma'idah, verse 20.
Al-Ma'idah, verse 20.
Yeah, it doesn't say Jerusalem. It probably
No, it says the children of Israel, though. Yeah.
Okay, and I agree with that. Yeah, and it will say, and I think it says it like over 100 times that it references the children of Israel and associates them with that land. It's their land, according forget the fact that it's in the Bible, title and deed from Abraham to Isaac to to Jacob to his 12 sons to David to forget all that, the covenants that were made through that line. Even the Quran says that the land belongs to them. And the last thing that this guy brought up here in this video, did you see the Jews when they were released? They were smiling.
Disgusting.
That's the living one.
I want
the
to
living one
see
of them.
what they showed the Palestinians. Hey, they need to know what Hollywood is. If they're that stupid, I'm sorry. I mean, they don't use logic in Islam, so I mean, they can't tell what's truthful and what's not.
That's the sickest thing. I think it's this guy's the guy.
I think that these people are genuinely smiling after being held hostage. They're scared for their life.
Who put this in your brain?
I think you're in denial about Hamas. So Hamas implements strict Sharia law. It looks like in Ramallah, at least, you're free to show your hair. Would you want Hamas to be in charge?
They would allow for elections. Why not?
Okay. So no, okay. This is in the West Bank. This is in Ramallah. Okay, and the girl's walking around without a hijab on.
I want to add this. According to Al-Azhar, which is the university that you become a sheikh, this woman is at the, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the word, is W word, WHO.
Yeah, Ari.
And she's impure. She's belongs to hell. And I can send you the fatwa and I can send you all the videos of the sheikhs and imam that's saying this.
No,
so she's the W word.
I think, Paul, have we gone over this in the Reliance of the Traveler yet?
No, we have yet to get there,
Okay.
but I have covered that in my book and a video on a chapter in my book on the hijab.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, and you're absolutely right. So this, if she went to the Gaza Strip, or if she went to Egypt, she would get assaulted. She would be
Trust me, even if in the copy people are getting abused, and I have videos and photos in my phone that people with the niqab are getting abused because this is Islam.
Absolutely.
It's not about the dress; it's about the culture.
Well, and this is what this when she starts saying that she conducts herself that is I don't want to say anti-Sharia, but she's definitely in violation of the Sharia by allowing herself to show her hair. Let's put it that way. Then the guy asked, she says, well, we'll have elections. No, you won't. I mean, they had, what was the last, I mean, Mahmoud Abbas, is Abbas the Fatah leader? Am I right on that? Mahmoud Abbas?
Ibn Abbas?
Yeah, for Fatah. Who leads Fatah?
Fatah, I don't know.
Okay, well, the bottom line is neither of those two districts have had elections since 2005.
Oh, there's no election. According to Sharia, you cannot election any Sharia laws because it's
Fair point. Sure, it goes against the Sharia. Sure, but when she starts talking about using democracy, the democratic method, look what they've done in Turkey. Erdogan is in the 21st year of his 4-year term, for crying out loud. They don't have elections there. They don't have elections in any of these countries. Why? Because these guys know that the will of the people, they had to bow to the will of the people. The will of the people would throw them out and throw the Sharia out along with it. This is the most repressive type law. The Sharia is the most repressive type law that you can can envision as a human being. Okay, let's finish this Tama Jama up.
Had elections in Gaza in 20 years. That's a fact.
Maybe people there want them.
Thanks for watching this report.
All right. Let's go ahead and close that up. That along with the where did I go? Stop screen. There we go. That and along with the Paris Olympic thing. That just got me in this terrible mood this week of watching them both. But it's not their fault. It's not their fault. This is the society that they were raised in. This is the culture that they were born into, and this is when you're taught this and it's reinforced your entire life, it corrupts your brain. It corrupts the way that you view other human beings. It corrupts the way that you think that you should interact with other people. We're the majority of us are fortunate enough to live in or have come from the Judeo-Christian ethic, where you do unto others as that you would have them do unto you. They don't have that Judeo-Christian ethic in Islam. And so they have this corruption of morals. And I titled the show purposely, Aisha Speaks Out, because it's this one incident in Islam that anybody can go and point to and say, look, this is a corruption of the human norm. This is not normal. We've heard incessantly when this is brought up amongst Christians and Muslims in their discourses, is that, well, you have people at back then got married at younger ages, and look at your grandparents. Just look at your grandparents, your great grandparents now. They got married when they were 15, they were 16, and this is true. I'm not sure how old my great grandmother was when she got married, but I know that she was not in her 20s. I know she was in her teens when she got married. And that's the way the majority of the people at that time, when they got married, that's how old they were. But here's the difference. This is the difference. This is the key difference that most people do not get. And you have to, as soon as this comes up, you have to make sure that they understand this. Their husbands were not 54-year-old scumbags.
Exactly.
Their husbands were not these old men. This is the main difference. And this idea that it's okay for an old man to do that to a young woman, even a young woman, let alone a little girl like Aisha was, is absolutely sick. But they cannot say that it's sick. Why? Because to do that would be in violation of reliance of the travel. To revile Allah and his messenger, It's very specific. When I start talking about what is apostasy, and what is the punishment for apostasy, you're killed. You can be killed. Okay. if you revile Muhammad and say that this is wrong for what he did, you can be killed for it. You can be declared an apostate. So this corrupts their mind. Now, I had previously mentioned the DSM and how the DSM, how homosexuality was taken out of the DSM.
I love this picture, by the way.
Yeah, it's quality. But I pulled this out of the DSM. Here you have pedophilic disorders, and it tells us exactly. And you tell me, I don't know. I'm just going by the manual here. I don't want to be an Islamophobe or anything. You tell me if this matches what the behavior of Muhammad was, and this is what it says. There's 3 criterion with 6 specifiers. Okay, number one, Brad, where have you been? Has arousing fantasies of urges for behaviors with a prepubescent child or children. Now we know that Aisha was prepubescent because Al-Tabari tells us when he provides a commentary on Sahih Bukhari's hadith that Aisha was playing with dolls. And the only time that you're allowed to play with dolls is if you are prepubescent. Once you hit puberty, you can't play with dolls. Then it says the individual has acted out these sexual desires or has experienced significant distress or difficulty as a result of these desires. He definitely acted these out. He consummated that marriage. The individual is 16 years of age and at least 5 years older than the child or children noted in criterion A. So Muhammad was 54. Aisha was 9. So that is more than 5. That is what?
45, 46 years.
45. Okay, so that's 45-year difference. Not a 5-year difference. This is a 45-year difference.
And by the way, according to the Shia, Muhammad intercourse with Aisha when she was 6. Not all the Shia, because some Shia or the Rafidi believed that she was 18, but some group of Shia, especially in Iran, believed that Muhammad had sex with Aisha when she was 6. And even Sahih Bukhari, it says that Aisha was really small in size, that she had to be fed by cucumber. They could get fat in order to not dead in Muhammad when he intercourse with her, so she can physically be ready. She was so skinny that she had to be fed multiple times.
Right. And in addition to that, there was a fatwa, I believe it was a fatwa that was issued that said that Muhammad used to thigh her from the time that she was 6 to the time that she was 9.
Yeah, he used to play with her, sexual parts.
Yeah, it's just disgusting.
Even before and after, before he had intercourse with her and after, because there's hadith that Muhammad tell one of his companions that he can take a young girl so he can play with her, not intercourse, play with her sexual parts, and it's a Sahih hadith that Muhammad allows his companion to choose a child so they can please with her parts.
I've read that hadith before,
and it's Sahih. It's in Bukhari and Muslim.
Okay, so let's go back to this. It says so the specifiers are there's type sexual attraction to adults and children, so it's non-exclusive, so he can still be declared a pedophile according to the DSM, because you don't just have to have desires for little children. So here again you have him meeting the strictest definition of what a pedophile is. And how do we know that he did this? I mean, this is one of the things that was brought up. Let me see, who was that? Rad, are you there? Rad, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Rad.
Where have that certain imam saying that these hadiths were fabricated. Where was that again? Is that in the cold clothes?
Yeah, that's in cold clothes.
Advanced student and specialist, that the standard narrative has holes. That's what
that the Muslims were rioting against one another. And as much as we don't want to face the fact, the Muslims were lying sometimes. They were fabricating, they were embellishing, and that might be hard to accept. But that is
Okay. So there you have it. It's right there.
I would choose the cow.
Thank you. Yes. So here you have even this imam saying that these hadith that I'm going to show you, well, these were fabricated, don't you see? Well, let's take a look and see if he's right. So you have Bukhari, Sahih Bukhari, and this is where Aisha, let's see, Hisham's father, Khadijah died. Okay, so this isn't from Aisha. He stayed there for 2 years, and so he married Aisha when she was a girl of 6 of age and consummated or consumed that marriage when she was 9 years old. This in of itself, this one hadith itself, this one Sahih hadith itself would be enough to convict Muhammad in a court of law for pedophilia, and he would be shipped off to the nearest prison to have things done to him by other prisoners.
All right.
That would provide that justice.
Let it rest. No, gotta let it rest. Gotta let it rest for 10 minutes. Okay.
Hey, Red. Hot mic, Red.
I mean, he's probably cooking. You know what this guy does? He brags about his and sends me pictures of all this stuff, saying, "Oh, I bet you wish you were here." Oh, yeah, of course I would. I mean, I have somebody cook my food for me. Of course I would. Anyway, let's go to this next one. Narrated. Now, this is from Aisha, and this is one of the questions that the imam asked. He goes, "Were you there? Were you there?" Okay, well, Aisha was there, and this is where she says that the Prophet married her when she was 6, and he consummated the marriage when she was 9. And then she remained with him for 9 years until his death. So how old? Let me just make sure we're getting the math here, because sometimes when the math doesn't line up, you can see that something's been
Math
fabricated.
is haram, brother. Math is haram.
Okay, so how old would Aisha have been? How old would Aisha have been when Muhammad died, according to this?
18.
18. Very good. Very good. Not 19, not 20 when they got married. When he died, according to this one hadith here, she would have been 18 years old. All right. Sahih Muslim. Aisha reported, Allah's apostle married me when I was 6, and I was admitted to his house when I was 9. So when she's admitted to his house, what does he do to her? He consummates the marriage. Put this back up here. Sorry. Oh, Esther's here. Hello, Esther. It's good to see you. I gotta be careful when I say that, because whenever I mention people in the chat, they go, "Well, why didn't he mention being clear?" I'm going to go through this. I'll do it at the end of the show. I appreciate you guys in chat. Believe me, I love reading a lot of the comments when I get a chance. Okay, this one is Sahih Muslim. Let's see. Aisha reported. So this is from Aisha. Married her when she was. We have a variance here. She was 7. Wow, 7. Notice it doesn't say 17. Notice it doesn't say 12 or 14. Notice it says 7. So here you have one variant, and was taken to this house of the bride. And when she was, how old when she was taken there? 9. So that's still the same. And it says her dolls were with her. And when he died, she was 18. So all of the math, or the key math, lines up here. Married when she was 9. The previous one says that she was there for 9 years, and that would make her 18. This one right here corroborates that age of 18 right there. All right. What else? Sunan Abu Dawud. Look at here. Aisha said what? What did Aisha say? What did Aisha say? The
7
apostle,
and 9.
yeah, married me when I was 7. Okay, so you have another variance. And let's see. And then he says, Solomon said, or 6, he had intercourse with me when I was 9. So again, you have another hadith collection. This is the third one. Collection of hadith. You have Bukhari, Muslim, and now you have Dawood.
Yeah,
Same thing.
Part of the top 6. So yeah, I mean doesn't get any better than that.
No, it doesn't, and that's the problem. And here's number 4, Al-Nasi. Al-Nasi, the messenger of Allah. It was narrated by who? Aisha.
Well, it's only not only a problem for this modern day pretend imam who thinks he knows more than the Islamic scholars.
Yes, and that's exactly the problem. And when people, well, we're getting to it, and they'll say, well, I know more than Ibn Abbas, I know more than Ibn Kathir, I know more than Al-Jalalain. Okay, whatever. You live in the West, and you have a higher sense of morality than Muhammad. That's why you know more than him.
Yeah, he has his own parking spot,
Yeah. The Messenger married me when I was 6, consummated when I was, how old? 9. That's number 4. That's the 4th one. That's the 4th compiler of a hadith literature that says that she was 9. Nasi again married me when I was 9, and I lived with him for 9 years, thus making her how old? 18. So here's you have the second person saying that she was 9 when they got married. She lived with him for an additional 9 years, making her 18 when he died, not 19 when they got married, 27 when he died. No. None of that math works out when you follow the hadith literature. When you try to convolute the hadith literature, then you have a problem. Here is Al-Nasi again, saying it was narrated Aisha's messenger married her when she was 9 and died when she was 18. So here you have another confirmation of the age. Ibn Majah. This is number 5. Number 5. The Prophet married Aisha when she was 7 and consummated the marriage when she was 9 and passed away when she was 18. Now notice, folks, this is the key part. Notice how all the math lines up here. You don't have to say that she was 6 when she got married. That has no bearing on the age when Muhammad died. When Muhammad died, and the amount of time that she spent with him. That has nothing to do with it. And this is what they tried to do is when you try to discuss it, say, well, some say she was 6, she was just 7. Okay, fine. Let's say she was 7 when they got married. The fact of the matter is that when he consummated the marriage, all of them say she was 9, and they all say that she stayed with him until for 9 years and died, and he died when she was 18. That is not. There's no dispute about that. There's none, unless you're an imam from Houston. Ibn Kathir writes in his commentary, says married her when she was 6 and consummated at the age of 9. And what does he say? There is no dispute among anyone on this matter. What else we got? Asqalani. He says, and Asqalani, when making a commentary on this, says, I thought this was Tabari. I guess it was Asqalani. And he says the playing with dolls and similar images forbidden, but it was allowed for Aisha at the time as she was a little girl, not yet reached the age of puberty. So here you have a confirmation of her being prepubescent at this time. This is just sick. It is just sick. Oh, and here's Tabari. Tabari said the same thing, I think. Tabari says, my marriage was consummated when I was 9. He married me when I was a virgin. No other man had shared with me in spirit. Okay. So again, you have Tabari, when he's writing his histories, says that she was 9 years old when she was consummated. And here you have in the Sirah, here in the Sirah. He married Aisha in Mecca when she was a child of 7, lived with her in Medina when she was 9. Or here's the only place where it says 10. Notice it doesn't say 17, 15, 14, or it says 10. And this is right out of his biography. Not that I trust the biography as far as I can throw it, but that's what the biography says. And then this is the worst part. This is the worst one, folks. This is the worst part out of all the entire spiel. And this is why I'm doing this, is to show what a sick, how this corrupts you just corrupts your mind. This is why you have people crawling on top of American monuments and defacing them and supporting a bunch of terrorists, a bunch of rapists, a bunch of child killers. This is what motivates the terrorists to do this. This psyche, this basis for their hatred for the Jews comes from this book. And look what this book does. Look at this God, this Allah does to your mind. Here it is, 65:4. And those who know, and here, and folks, let me just make sure you all understand this before you all start spouting about, taking things out of context. This chapter in the Quran deals with the with divorce. It's a topic of divorce. What do you have to do in order to divorce a woman? And according to Islam, you have to provide a woman an iddah, which is a waiting period. You have to give them 3 months from the time that you tell them, talak, 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 I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you 3 times. You divorce them. You have to give them a period of 3 months before you release them. And that's just to make sure that they they're not pregnant with your child. I'm not exactly sure what you do if they are pregnant, or you have to take them back in or whatever, but you do have to allow them. It doesn't matter. Let me
the whole point of the iddah is to make sure there's no pregnancy.
Right. Yeah. And in doing so, what this verse does in the Quran, it prescribes the criteria of whom an iddah is given. Who is supposed to receive this waiting period? And look what it says right here, 65:4. And those who no longer expect menstruation among your women. Now that is somebody who has reached menopause, who no longer menstruates. If you doubt, then their period is 3 months. And also for those who have not menstruated, and those who are pregnant, But no, it says those who have not menstruated. I know, and this is so sick. This is how sick this ideology is, and what it does to your brain. It just completely destroys any sense of morality that you have in your head. To say, well, there are women out there that don't menstruate, and this is true. This is true. This is true. There are women out there. There are women out there who don't menstruate. It's a disease. There's people out there that don't have any legs. Is that normal? No, we're talking about the majority of the people, for crying out loud. We're not just talking about this small percentage of people. But it gets worse, because the people who understood Muhammad the best tell us exactly what Allah is trying to tell his Muslims, his devout followers, who these women are.
Can I ask a question?
Yep, go ahead.
It's been a while, but I read where before the age of whatever they said, age of 9, Muhammad used to thigh Aisha, and he also wore her clothes. But I can't find it now, but I can find a fatwa.
It's a fatwa, is what it was. It comes from a fatwa. There isn't any original writing out there that's extant. That's extant, as far as I know. I might be wrong on that.
Okay, well, thank you. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. But yeah, even that is just, justifying perversion. It's just like this raid in Paris the other night. It's just perverse is what it is. Okay.
Before you go on, I'd just like to say,
The sound cuts.
What was that? Say that again. Ed, what was that?
can't hear it.
No.
I'll have to fix it. It's that guy that they got in Gaza protests in Great Britain where he was screaming, "She was 9 years old."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and that's all he was saying. Aisha was 9 years old, and everyone's like, "What did you say? I was going to kill you." Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that recorded and add that to my soundboard.
He was 9 years old. That's all he said. Okay, so let's go and look at what some of these great commentators of the Quran had to say in their tafsir. Ibn Abbas. Let's see. O Messenger, what about the waiting period of those who have not menstruated because they are too young, because of their age? Notice it doesn't say anything about something biological or some type of sickness or some type of disease that prevents them from menstruating. It says because of why? Because of their young age. Their waiting period is 3 months. So let's make sure we understand this. Hold on, let me make sure we understand this. According to Allah, the God of the universe, a man, a 54-year-old scumbag, can marry a prepubescent little girl, consummate that marriage with a prepubescent little girl, and then divorce that prepubescent little girl before she's had her first period. I don't know how you get any sicker than that. I really don't. Men are supposed to protect children.
There's only one thing sicker, Eric. It's the pedophile who tells other people to be pedophiles, and that is Muhammad.
And this,
And don't let anybody tell you any different. She didn't have any offspring at all. There are some imams out there that say yes, she did. No, she didn't. Nothing out there says that she did. So Muhammad didn't have kids. Thank God.
Okay, let's go to the next one. We're almost done, folks. I know this is painful, but we're almost done.
I can show you something more insane, but I don't want to switch topics. So after we finish, I will tell you something.
Go ahead.
If you open Surah Najm, verse 31 to 33, it says that sexual abusing to women is a small sin, considered a small sin. It's called the lamam in Arabic, which you can be forgiven by just praying and say astaghfirullah 3 times. So you can go and abuse women sexually by touching, by like vocal abusing, and it's a small sin. And I debated with the Muslims a lot, and even there's a Muslim sheikh that can't refute this argument. Islam tells you that sexually abusing women, it's a small sin that can be forgiven by just having a prayer. That's how insane this is.
Well, and I think what that does, and thank you for sharing that. I think that what that does is that it illuminates the depravity of this ideology, and it illuminates the position of women in Islam itself. It illuminates how men are supposed to view women. When we look at
sexual machines, that's how they say it. They see the woman.
Yeah, that's their only purpose in life, is to produce children. That's the only purpose. Who was I don't remember who I was speaking to, if they said it on the show, but they were talking about how you can Muslim men can hit their wives and they can beat women. He was even talking about how the sons would hit their mothers after they reached a certain age, because this is how they viewed them. So that the status of women in Islam has got to be, the worst. We've had that. I'm not going to mention any names, Rad, because he always had to show then. But we have a certain individual that says that every day is Mother's Day in Islam, and that would be the biggest lie. This is how these guys they lie about it. All right, let's go to Ibn Kathir.
Well,
Go
and
ahead.
also that's how we know it's from the devil, because the devil hates the woman.
Yeah, that's where Christ came
Scripture
from.
breaks every God commandment. Every commandment in Old Testament, Jesus teaching, literally Islam or devil breaks it.
Well, Muhammad does. We did a show. We went through the 10 Commandments, and I identified whether it's in the Quran or whether it was in the Sirah or whether it was in the Hadith. Muhammad broke every single commandment, and that by breaking that commandment, what he's doing is he's showing that it is Sunnah, that is something that is permitted. Thank you, Ed. Yeah. So when you talk about adultery, marry the Copt. You talk about murder, the Qurayshi tribe, and so you talk about thou shalt nots. He did, thus making it Sunnah and giving you the justification to do it. All right, let's do this this one on Ibn Kathir. Ibn Kathir. What happened here?
What? It's bugged.
What did I do? There we go. Ibn Kathir. Ibn Kathir says that the same for the young who have not reached the years of menstruation, when he's commenting on 65:4, saying that these girls have not yet reached the years of menstruation, meaning that they are pre-pubescent. You look at Al-Jalalain, those who have not yet menstruated, because why? Of their young age. And then when you look at Tabari, I'm not even getting into that. And I have Kenny Bulmer stuff on there. But anyway, when we start looking at this very one thing that when you can look at Islam holistically as an ideology, and you can say, okay, there are some things here that you can consider good. Like, for example, it teaches you not to go out and bury your daughter in the sand because she's a girl and you don't want to have to pay, the, what do they call that? The thing where you married off your daughter, dowry. You don't have to pay the dowry or whatever. Okay. But when you look at what it does to your brain and what it does when you engage these people on this one topic, that their sense of morality has been completely destroyed by this one man and what he did. And when you look at how he put these words into the mouths of his God or his angel Gabriel in 65:4, if you can't see that, then you are spiritually blind. You have been blinded by a demonic spirit. And the only thing we can do is pray for these people. But it is this ideology, it is this demonic type spirit, this mentality where you have people going out and praising Hamas. You have people going out and murdering little children and celebrating in the streets, the sexual assault of women and the killing of innocent human beings. I don't see Israelis celebrating the deaths of any of the Gazanians in this war. I haven't seen it. They may have done it when you're in firefights and stuff like that, and you get all jacked up on adrenaline and stuff. You might celebrate killing, some of your enemy. That's true, but you do not celebrate the deaths of children, women, innocents in this. And this is the ideology that has done that, and that leads to what we see today. All right, folks, that's all I have, unless somebody has something that they want to add for.
Again. Hashtag free Aisha. By the way,
that wasn't me.
There's no historical evidence that Muslim used to bury the girls in the sand, because I had a conversation with Muslim and Ed knew it. He was there. That Muslim used to before Islam, they used to bury the girls in the sand. That's not a true story. It's just a Quran claim to make Islam is good, but Islam is evil in all ways.
And I'm going to agree with you, because when we start looking at the sources for the historicity, take that, Paul, the historicity of Islam, they're not there. I mean, you don't have anything outside of the Syria, outside of the Hadith that tells us that even Mecca existed. So I don't find that hard to believe. I really don't. All right, folks, we're going to call it a night. I know we're a little early. I don't see Connie in the chat, so she's not going to get on me. Well, I did see her in the chat earlier, but maybe she's out doing something, and she won't get mad if we end it before 6. Does anybody have anything that they want to add before we go?
I'm going to do my show early this week because I am going to be at a men's ministry Thursday. So come join me tomorrow at the same time.
Okay, so 5 o'clock tomorrow, the Lithian report.
5 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Eastern, yes.
Oh, Connie's right there. I didn't even, sorry. Okay.
Oh, she's small clips. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's her. I'm fairly certain. I'm positive that's her. Yes, and Connie and I are going to be on Lloyd DeJong's show on Friday. Am I correct on this, Connie? Friday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I still have to get in touch with Murad about getting him on this show. I've got a whole laundry list of things I got to do. Again, everybody that was in chat today, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you. My granddaughter's calling me, so it looks like I'm going to go pick her up. Thank you for coming, and everybody that did today on the panel. I appreciate you guys so very much coming in, adding your opinions, your expertise. It really helps me out in doing this.
Yeah, I just have one more thing to say about from the beginning of the show.
Go ahead, Darcy.
People can have feelings, but we cannot rely on them or allow them to keep using those feelings to shut us down. So
you're absolutely
keep going. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can pray for them, which is still bad, but that's it.
Yeah. So
if you are
offended, then perhaps you ought to
read Matthew 24.
Line, Ibn Abbas, give them a call or write a letter to your local imam protesting that, but don't get upset. Yeah. Yeah. What is Connie? Amen. Feelings aren't facts. Amen. All right. God bless everybody.
I was 9 years old.
Yep. Play that one more time for us, Ed.
Oh. Where is it?
I would choose the cow. I would choose the cow.
I would.
She was high, Liz, oh! She was high, Liz, oh! She was
Aisha.
Advanced student and specialist, that the standard narrative has holes. That's what
that the Muslims were rioting against one another. And as much as we don't want to face the fact, the Muslims were lying sometimes. They were fabricating, they were embellishing, and that might be hard to accept.